Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new or simply not yet subscribed, I'm Brittany, and definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button. I hope you guys are getting all excited for Christmas or Hanukkah or Yule, whichever holiday you celebrate. And we're gonna dive straight into our topic for the day. So hidden within the Connecticut River is a serpent that has frightened anyone who has lived on its banks since colonists first settled here. This creature has been described as an eel or a snake-like serpent that's over 100 feet long. Though over the past 300 years, it has been spotted in 3 different states, it still remains a mystery to this day. In the early 1800s, someone spotting a strange animal off the coast of Connecticut wasn't uncommon. Sailors would return to port with these outlandish tales of leviathans or sea monsters. I mean, look at old sailor maps. Like, there are monsters throughout it, but possibly one of the most peculiar ones was one that had came across the pages of the New York Times and Scientific American and wasn't reported by sailors at sea, but instead by people that lived in the heart of Connecticut. The first sighting of the creature would happen in Middletown, Connecticut, and would be recorded in the New York Times on September 8th, 1886. According to this article, Colonel Stocking and Silas Sage would see a creature while in a little skiff in Cromwell, Connecticut. While they were crossing the river at around 6 a.m., they would be hit by something underwater, and the skiff would be tossed in the air as they would come crashing back into the river. The 2 men would be tossed out of their seats. They both did end up landing on the floor of the boat. However, they were obviously scared, and even so, they decided to look over the side of the boat, and they would see the water going back and forth until they saw this big black head that rose from the water. They said that the creature had stood 10 feet above the water, just its head, and that its eyes were as big as small plates, and it had a body that appeared to be over 100 feet long. So they were obviously like, we gotta get out of here, and they raced back to shore. Once they were safely on shore, they turned around to see the creature again, but it was gone. Word spread quickly of their encounter, and soon others began to join them on the shoreline. They were hoping to see this creature, and they did. Eventually, the creature's head would break the surface once again. This time, it towered 15 feet above the water. So now this wasn't just 2 guys that saw it. It was several. For a while after, sailors would navigate the waters with caution, and hunting parties would even get sent out in hopes to catch the creature, which is really sad because, the creature just rose up out of the water and looked around and didn't do anything, didn't charge them, didn't try to attack them, and they're like, oh yeah, let's kill it. But eventually, the town would give up on the monster, and the creature wouldn't be mentioned again until 1884, when there was an article that concerned a sighting by Austin Rice that would appear in the Boston Herald. The story would get the public's attention and be reprinted in a May issue of the Scientific American and the Sioux Valley News in Iowa. Austin Rice was a farmer in East Deerfield, Massachusetts. But him and his wife Clarissa had lived along the banks of the Connecticut River for about 50 years, and they've never really seen anything out of the ordinary. But one day, that would all change. In the spring of 1894, he was near a bridge that crossed the river when he heard a grunt that was followed by a splash. And he said, I looked into the river, and no more than 25 feet away, I saw a big snake. Its head was out of the water, and its body was raised 6 or 7 feet. At the neck, the snake was about as large as an ordinary man's leg at the thigh, and the body was as large as an ordinary stovepipe. He went on to describe it as being black with a white stripe on the underside. Its eyes were as large as those of a horse with a mouth that extended down to its belly. That was nearly a foot across. But this didn't scare Austin. Instead, he was filled with curiosity. He actually tried to keep up with the creature, but it became aware of Austin and decided to head towards him, which, you know, at that point is probably just trying to protect itself. So obviously Austin was like, okay, better safe than sorry, and headed back. But he has said that the power of locomotion that this creature had was intense, that the creature had no trouble keeping still in the river with the currents going against it. Not far up the river, the creature would pass a boathouse where there were some guys that were hammering, and it was startled. So the creature raised itself 10 feet into the air and then fell back into the water and disappeared. There have been other sightings since 1894, but none of them were as close as Colonel Stocking, and no one has described it as much in detail as Austin has. Some believe that the sightings were just a hoax, or that it was a misidentification of a creature, which a lot of people point to the sturgeon. Even with Champ, like, people point to sturgeons as possible, like, reasons for the lake monster. So in this case, it's still the sturgeon, because they can get very big and they're not the most appealing creatures, but they're also not going to raise themselves out of the body, or they're also not going to raise themselves out of water that much. So there's that. People who are still familiar with the creature have named it Connie. And some believe that the creature is living in the Hog River Tunnel under Hartford, Connecticut. And some believe that there's even a population of these serpents off the shore of New England. So have you ever came into contact with Connie? It's funny because that was my grandmother's name. Or if you've had any other paranormal experiences and you would like to share them with me, I would love to hear them. You can go ahead and email me at brittanyburgos@gmail.com. I don't know our need. I don't understand humanity's need to kill and destroy things that we don't understand. They weren't doing anything. They were just kind of looking around, checking things out, and they're like, hey, let's go and take care of this. It's so disturbing. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Make sure to like this video, hit the subscribe button, and until my next video, I love you guys. Bye.